All right, so this is going to be our first entry into using Premiere Pro, and we're going to be using it to learn how to make somebody teleport. Attached to the assignment, I have a folder here called Teleportation Practice. And what we'll do is download that into our downloads file, go here to extract and click extract all. Once we extract that, we'll have access to these files here where we've got 3 videos of someone running, as well as our smoke effect and the audio. I'm going to move that off to the side for a second while we set up our document for Premiere Pro. We'll start by going to New Project here, giving our file a name like Teleportation, and hitting Create. It'll take a second for it to pop up. And once it's up, our interface is going to look a little overwhelming to start. We have a lot of different options because this is the Pro version of Premiere and not Premiere Rush, which we've used before in the past, where we will have a ton of things going on, but trust me, this is going to be pretty easy to do. I'm going to drag this back on over and shrink it down here. And I'm going to drag in our first video clip right here, Teleport Practice 1, right into our library here where it says Import Media to Start. And might as well just add those extra ones right now. And those will all be here in our media browser. From here, I can drag it into our sequence where we now see our video here, where we have our guy running and jumping. Much like Premiere Rush, we can drag along on the line, and where we find where we want to cut our clip, we can just grab from the end of it and shrink it down. And I have a little bit before he runs into frame 2, so I'm going to get rid of that opening part as well. And then I'll just move this right to the start. I can also get rid of this open space by right-clicking and selecting Ripple Delete, and that'll move that right to the beginning. So now I have him jump, and that's the end of our clip. With part 2, I have our tripod still set up, and I just record that empty background. And I'm going to shrink that down. Now, to sell the effect, I'm going to need this teleportation smoke. And you'll notice that we have these 2 balls right here with a line, and I can use this and drag this in smaller or longer to show more and more of our timeline if I want to zoom in on a specific area or see more of it. So I'm adjusting this right down here. So now, as he jumps up, I'm going to put this smoke effect and double click on this. And to edit this, I'll come up here to Window, and I'll make sure I have Effects Controls open, which will be right on over here. This is just like in Photoshop. We're going to play with the opacity and change the blend mode. And I open that by clicking on this little arrow right here and change the blend mode to either lighten or screen. And then I can place this somewhere on top of our jumping guy. So now we see him jump. And I don't really like where that pops in. I want it to be right about there. And I can change the size of the effect as well. And it's still a little bit off because he's actually teleporting out right there. And I can just play around with that until we find exactly where I want that to be. All right, so now he disappears out and the smoke goes. I can then grab our sound effect file and line that up as well. And our audio is right down here with A1, audio track 1, audio track 2, audio track 3, and our video is up here with video track 1, 2, and 3. And same thing as in Photoshop, as we layer things up, they'll be more visible. So now he jumps, and we have that sound effect. I may want to move the sound effect a little bit earlier because you'll notice that the sound actually doesn't start here until those waves start to peak up. There we go. And now I need him to teleport back in. So what I'll do is grab our teleport practice number 3, drop this in, and I'm going to find where he jumps again, which looks like it's right there. Shrink that down and put this at the end. And now I can grab our same smoke effect, and if I hold Alt while I drag this over and place it right here, I can grab this and move it over to where he's at, or start it right before he pops in. So now we should have teleports out, nothing, teleports in. And we just finally need to add that audio back here. And there we go, really sells the effect. You'll notice it all went black right here. That's because I don't have a video track below it, just the smoke. So to finish, I'm just gonna shrink these down right there, condense everything down, so it's now just this 5-second clip. Everything's lined up, nice and clean, and we should have this as our final result. From here, what we need to do is come up to the export button, click on that, wait for it to load up, and then we want to pay attention to where our file is exporting. I want to go to OneDrive, so I'll zoom up to OneDrive. I will save it with a name, click Save, so I can find it in my OneDrive. I will rename this with my name in the file as well. And then I want to make sure that my preset is match source because I just want to use the same quality that I had loaded into the video. And then I will click export right here. Once we click export, it'll take a little bit of time, about 2 seconds to export, and then we'll be able to attach that to the assignment. Once we've gotten done with this practice, we'll start working on our short films where we're using this technique. Good luck and have fun.